All right. Well, oh, and I still need to share. Goodness. All right. All right. So finally, welcome everyone to the KubeVirt SIG storage meeting on March 24th. We'll get started here with the agenda, and I guess first we have Alex. So why don't you take it away?
Thanks. So, not really my issue. It was opened by Michael. But
Okay.
basically, we regressed like a few versions ago. We used to have a lot more cases where we validate the image before downloading. But since we switched to using scratch space more often, we just don't do that anymore. Like the validation is hidden away in some other step. So we do in fact start copying to scratch space before performing validation. So bit of a waste. You'll get the size error once you reach the copying to target,
Mm-hmm.
I think, or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what Michael saw in practice, but you'll just fail later, and you've basically filled up the volume for no reason. So
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bit of a problem with that because we can't always tell how big the source is before we download it. That's sort of one of the reasons why we go to the scratch space, is that we can then validate that it actually fits. In particular, gzip or xz that has one giant block or whatever it's called. We can't tell how big it is ahead of time. We have to download it and then we can inspect it.
Mm-hmm. Is this typically, are we talking specifically just about HTTP endpoints here, or registry as well? Is there a specific scenario?
this is about HTTP, I believe, and I get Alexander's comment. Like
Yep.
like historically we never validated all cases, but I think like best effort is fine. Like this case, for example, we could definitely validate before.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
in most cases it's going to just be a QCOW or an ISO, so we could validate.
Yeah, although if it's like compressed, compressed raw, then we wouldn't know.
Well, we
Which
detect that. We can detect that though. Like we have the readers that can tell if it's compressed, if it's QCOW, if it's raw, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you just want to do it like a QEMU image info on the source if we detect that it's raw or QCOW. That's essentially what we want.
If we can, yeah.
I don't see why we couldn't do that. Just detect if it's QCOW or raw, and if it is, then we can do a quick QEMU image info. Should be better than downloading the whole thing before doing it.
Yeah, and there are definitely cases. Yeah, there are just some cases where it will work, and some cases where it won't. Like definitely, also other cases where we can't do it are if the user gives custom certs, because I don't think we can pass certs to QEMU image info. So there are like a lot of cases where we can't do it, but I think probably for most cases that are being served up, we can, like most public images.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to say this. If we use MBD kit, we can use custom certs, and then the QEMU image on the MBD kit socket, and then have it figured out. But I don't
Oh,
know.
I seem to recall though, even with MBD kit, we did, but yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know.
You know, supposedly NBD kit, and this is not like I'm not suggesting we put it back in place, but it supposedly fixed that slow download issue. We have like a to-do in the code base that says whenever this version gets released, revert this change. But obviously, I don't want to revert. But just so you know, that we already have a version that supposedly fixed this slow download.
I think we pretty much eliminated MBK.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that in general, like the severity of this issue is pretty low because like it's annoying if you give, you know, if you have to waste a lot of time to figure this out. But like, I guess if it does fail in that way, then I guess we don't try to download again, do we? Or are we just going to keep re-downloading and filling it and saying too big and then, or what?
Yeah, no, we'll keep retrying. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a
Well, the
good one.
hope is that a user could potentially see the out of space error and then resize the PVC or something.
Mm-hmm. Do we actually put like I'm trying to recall with you know, with the importer exit status stuff that we have, do we actually put an informative message somewhere into the data volume or PVC to explain what the error was? Or
Yeah, you
okay,
should see it in the conditions. Yeah.
okay. So that's good because then, yeah, that actually gives somebody an opportunity to, yeah, to see what happened. So yeah, it's a good idea to head off these annoying errors when we easily can, but like trying to pursue an exhaustive solution is not that important because the failure mode's like annoying but not dangerous. Okay. So this could be a good could definitely be a good issue for somebody who wants to learn how the importer state machine works. And because we have, I guess somebody pointed out, yeah, there's this hidden validate phase or something like that. Yeah, in the convert phase.
Yeah, I thought about putting in the good first issue label, but I wasn't sure like the could get a little bit involved.
I think this is like a good second issue, maybe, or a third.
Yeah.
but definitely along those lines of I think a really good exercise for somebody to understand this area of the code. Cool. Okay. Any other discussion we want to have on this one?
Maybe like the initial investigation. Michael, if you have anything more from that, like was there anything else going wrong? I tried to read the thread, but
Yeah, so Peter posted it, and basically, yeah, I think there's some info in there, but basically, I guess, you know, he was annoyed because it would take like an hour to download the file to Scratch, and then it would bail, and then it would just keep repeating itself.
Mm-hmm.
an
So
hour, that's a long time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So I don't know that there's much else. It sounds like we've got a valid issue that everyone agrees we'd like to improve.
I will add that this is specifically rereading it now, it does seem like much broader. I'll just put the notes that this is like, you know, HTTP, raw ISO, you know, that we can't always check the size.
Yeah, if it's an HTTP, I can't remember, like gzip has the size metadata at the end of the file. So if it's a gzip compressed raw image, we can't.
No, the issue really is that we use the QEMU image program,
Mm-hmm.
and that, that obviously doesn't do any processing of compression or any.
So when we're saying size, we mean the virtual size of the disk image, right? So the virtual size of the disk image is like, 10 gigs, and your PVC is only 5, but the actual used space by the image is only like 600 megabytes or whatever. It will download and fit on the scratch space just fine. It's just that we're going to reject it because the virtual size is larger than the target PVC.
Yeah, it's the virtual size, but that is an interesting point. We could do another level of checking for the case where it wouldn't even like if we can't like, and this is something I think we could do for everything to see that the file will even fit on Scratch, like just the physical size. You could get the content link header or something from
If the
HTTP if that's available.
Yep.
The HTTP server might not provide that information. Not all of them do.
Yeah, so if it doesn't, again, then
Yeah.
we can't reject a bad image on missing information. So, but if it does, yeah, like that's our first sign that it's not going to work. That one's not going to hit as often because we typically have sparse images. But then, yeah, like then the virtual size check as well when we're able to check that. Okay. Great. All right. So any other topics today?
I think I have a SIG storage issue from KubeVirt somewhere. Somebody asking for memory snapshots. Just trying to find it.
So not a
But yeah,
memory dump. We have memory dump already, but they want the like
yeah.
if you
Trying to
if you
find
want.
the issue. You can try the CDI issues filter for now. Probably take me a while.
Okay. All right, so we have this next one, CDI upgrade from 159.1 to 159.2 causes failed import of disks. That's not good. Failed mount system call.
Yeah, they're
Right.
using Longhorn, and I believe the source profile changed from file system to block, or from block to file system, one of the two, and that's what's causing the issue. I think they already figured it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
the person's happy, so they changed the storage profile. I think we have a bug in the Longhorn profile. There's a bit more permutations than what we believed at first. So there's like the NFS case, which I'm not sure how to identify. Where we can look into that. But what confused me on this issue is that on older versions they were getting like a file system volume, but there wasn't a profile at those versions, so I couldn't understand how it used to work on 59.1. Like the profile exists from 59.2, so they should have been failing in 59.1. Like there's no info about this provisioner.
Maybe they updated the storage profile manually themselves, and then in a new environment with the new version, they have the profile, so it's different.
Maybe like I talked to the author and it didn't seem like it, like unless he left it out.
Okay.
It didn't sound like it. Plus, if they did update the profile, their settings would have taken precedence in the new version, or at least they
Yeah.
should have. So I don't think
Mhm.
they did that. Like there's some black magic is deriving the volume mode, and I don't know what it was.
Hmm.
Maybe they're like a casual user and there's like an admin there in the picture and they take care of this stuff.
Yeah. All right. I've assigned Arnon. I'm not sure if he's here. I didn't look to see if he's here. No. Okay. So yeah, I'm assuming that he was the one that had the PR, but I know he's worked in this area. So we'll have him take a look to see if there's, yeah, any additional logic that needs to get added there. All right. We have the pod importer prime has an error when we pull the image. Anybody look at this one? Yeah, Alexander. Okay, so it looks like we're waiting for the reporter to respond to Alexander's comment from 5 days ago.
Yep.
So we can leave that one sit. You can just interrupt me, Alex, if you do have that link and you want to take a look at yours. I'll click it from the
Oh,
meeting notes.
yeah, I put it there.
Okay. All right, so let's go visit that next. Whoops.
Now they're trying to like bypass KubeVirt and
Mm-hmm.
call Verge themselves. That's not supported, but I believe the real question is if we can give them the feature so they
That's
can
a
just
big
use it.
that's a big feature. Like, I mean, I think we had a lot of um conversation around this. Shelley is will remember this where we had the online snapshots with memory and we were trying to understand what the use case was. And at that time we ruled out the this memory snapshot. I'm not exactly sure why are they trying to resume it, like do hibernation and resume? He wants to save memory state, which we can do with the memory dump.
Yeah, I remember we had some good reasons not to pursue the slouch feature.
It's
I
just
just
these are one of these things where we kind of decided we're trying to decide, which old virtualization features are relevant for the cloud environment, and we felt like the memory dump for diagnosis was a good one, but to try to actually do hibernation. So why do you want to save the memory state? You can capture the memory of state using virtctl to perform a memory dump. Yeah, so they're on the track
pretty
with it.
good answer. You can +1 it so the bot knows that they did a good job.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really good. I didn't realize that was a bot. That's awesome. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'd be open if folks in the community wanted to talk more about this and how you would implement, if it's going to get dumped instead, like what do they it's important to understand what they want the memory state for. Maybe the memory dump is good enough. If they're looking to implement a hibernation state and resuming the VM from that, that's a whole nother thing. I doubt how useful that is. Like, yeah, it's fun to play with, but it introduces a lot of added complexity. So Any other thoughts on that? Like, I'm certainly not the only voice worth listening to around whether this is worth doing.
I mean, it seems to me as like, you know, this is a super feature like for desktop hypervisors. You know, I don't know how useful it is for server stuff though. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if I was managing a fleet of server VMs, like I'd probably prefer to pay the couple extra minutes of start time to have more confidence in the start state of the VM. Like it's these kind of hibernation resumes. I remember they always seem to be kind of flaky. Sometimes they wouldn't work. You'd have network connections that are down, so the apps had to recover from that afterwards, like a lot of weird stuff. Um, so, all right. So I think we have a good potential answer from the bot, and we're waiting on additional updates from the reporter on that one as well. All right, let's see. We'll take a look at a couple more of these in here, I suppose. If anybody else has an issue from this list that you know to be worth jumping to, otherwise I'm just kind of going down.
The label one is probably sort of interesting to have the discussion because we decided to only allow a certain list of annotations, and they have a particular CNI that has one annotation that we don't support yet. And the question becomes, should we allow any annotations just to sort of future-proof ourselves for other CNIs that will appear with their own annotations?
So do we already have an annotation method, or do we have a label method? I remember we did one of those specifically for the old
labels. We already just copy, but annotations were more selective.
Yeah,
I pointed them to the code and where the list was, and say, hey, if you want to add yours, just add it here and make a PR, and we'll add it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, yeah, that was yeah, okay, so and they're looking at trying the PR. So like my general feeling about this is we haven't been annoyed by too many annotation requests. Like I feel like that was 3 years ago that we put that, at least probably more than that we put that in for Istio. And if this is really only the next time that we're encountering it, it's
we had another one that we added after Istio. I think
okay.
Alex has more details on that one. So this is the third one, I think.
Okay, but I mean, it's not like it hasn't. I don't think it's been that annoying to people. So I would say, for now, adding another one to the list is fine. We don't need to over-engineer. I think we were really, if we kind of revisit the reason not to do it, I think we were worried that people could put annotations by accident or on purpose that would be interpreted by CDI itself and cause the behavior to be messed up. Like, especially if you took like a PVC that had already been through the ringer with CDI and just copied it and didn't remove some of our annotations, and then you use that to like build a data volume, all of a sudden now we'd have annotations passing through that. So we'd almost have
about annotations on the data volume being passed through to the importer pod.
Right. So, but like I'm suggesting, if you took like a I don't know, it's a little bit of a contrived use case, but if somebody took a PVC that already had been like that was created by a data volume, I don't know why you wouldn't just copy the data volume if you were making another one, but like we'd probably have to be smart about at least our own annotations. But yeah, it seems safer just to add one to the list. I would say it's easier, safer.
Yeah,
until we're getting.
I think like a year ago, there was someone from the community that started exploring like the service mesh thing seriously for KubeVirt. Like they wanted VMs to engage,
Mhm.
and yeah, they just disappeared after a while.
Okay.
I guess the use case didn't make sense. I did find it weird to begin with, like why use it? Apparently, the service mesh is like some micro use case other than the microservice proxying. So it did make some sense, but it was very niche, and then they
Mhm.
disappeared. So yeah, I would not bother with the real design and all that stuff for now. Just if they wanted, they could just add it to the list.
I think I think UDN is like a really great way to implement maybe a lot of what's happening in the service mesh stuff in like a simpler way. So maybe people will use that more, but yeah, I'm not an expert on it either, but I can see that, if there's been 3 requests for annotations over the life of CDI, it's not too bad. So hopefully they'll go and create the PR here.
Yeah, hopefully. It's been a week since they said anything, so.
Mhm. All right,
Really, the PR is very simple, just add a line with their annotation.
exactly.
That's the annotations there. It-
Yep. All right. Anything worth looking at the linter? I guess that's just out there. Somebody wants to take it. Let's take a look at this Prometheus. I didn't really provide any details.
I don't even know why they would want that, but
Yeah, it's in the exemption list for the metrics, linters and all that stuff, because it's like an internal thing, the import progress. It's not like a user facing. We use it ourselves. We view it
Hmm.
and we just slap it onto data volume.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure we don't export or do the Prometheus service that you need to actually have Prometheus scrape the stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not being scraped.
And that's
There's a server though. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say that our
Actually, I do have a PR in that same area. I know it sounds weird, but so when we use this mechanism where we just issue a GET request to the importer Prometheus server for the metric, sometimes if you're really unlucky, you'll waste like 30 seconds of TCP timeout if the reconcile loop ran on a completed pod, if the
Mhm.
pod switched to completed during the reconcile loop. And I talked to Michael about it. He dropped now, but I talked to him about scraping this metric, but I don't think it's going to work because you want real time, right? You want like
Mhm.
real time progress, and if you start scraping, it kind of defeats the purpose because it's just gonna scrape every 30, 60 seconds or whatever the default is.
Mhm.
On the other hand, you could argue that it's the right way to do it. Still get metrics, but you're getting them later. I can
Mhm.
see pros and cons for each.
Yeah.
I do remember somewhere in the backlog something about less less updates to the data volume.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't remember the exact issue with them though.
So technically, this is an anti-pattern. You shouldn't be updating the status of the resource that often, but it is nice to have. So it's sort of like, okay, if you have like 100 imports going at the same time, there's a good potential that all these updates are going to overwhelm the API server because we're doing a lot of updates. So.
Yeah.
But it's like I think the update is every 2 seconds. We could increase that a little bit if we want, but. So
Okay.
far, it seems to work pretty nicely, and I don't really have much reason to change it. So.
Okay, let's take a look at this one. Add unique label to temporary PVCs created during upload. So they can be excluded from backup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that, and I pointed at the PR.
Okay, he's going to report back.
Oh, they
Okay,
want it
so
on the scratch.
on the scratch, yep. So Shelly, are you still here? Could I just assign this one to you so that it's sort of in your inbox? I don't know who would do it over, like if, I don't know, maybe it sounds like it could be a quick patch.
Okay.
You get one more reason to use ephemeral volume.
Cool, all right. Let's take another one or two here. PVC image upload volume notify or node affinity conflict. No nodes available. Volume, as this says,
That's that weird provisioner that does 50 gig PVCs from Oracle, the one that Alvaro is working on.
okay. Okay, is this resolved?
I think so, yeah. Like
Okay,
it's
I'm
just a
just,
misunderstanding of wait for first consumer. Like with their storage, the way they like roll out their cluster with the zones and stuff, I think it made sense and they're overriding it where it doesn't make sense. So it's bound to start failing at some point, like PVC on node A, the scratch on node B and stuff like that.
all right, cool, got one closed. All right, let's see, thank you. Let's see, we can take another one, two cert manager functions for CDI API server. There are two source files named certwatcher go. somebody wants to pick it up.
Yeah, and I also remember someone pinged me privately about taking this.
On the pure storage. Okay. That's February. Nobody, yeah, nobody,
I have
I
to
guess,
check with Natalie. I remember she pinged me about taking this.
okay. All right. Orthogonal distinction between volumes usable for snapshots versus volumes that can be created from snapshots. Interesting. This is back in the probably the CubeSand days. I don't know what. Wow, this is very okay. I don't know if this is going to be. Alex, so you commented on it. Do you remember the details about this? Like since
Oh no, it's
CubeSand
been
isn't
a while. Yeah.
okay. I know CubeSand hasn't been worked on lately, but that doesn't necessarily mean this isn't a generally useful thing. It was very well articulated in the top issue, so that's nice.
Yeah, it was. I just don't remember exactly what the problem was there.
Okay.
I do recall thinking that just differentiating with the storage profile mechanism would help solve it.
Mhm. Whether a storage class can be used as a source. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's like a different clone strategy or something. All right. We'll have to decide if we are gonna like I think CubeSand would be the only potential consumer of that, and we may not need to worry about it as much. I want to look at this one because it looks interesting. Importing a container disk onto a block volume loses sparseness. I thought we fixed. Oh, I remember when he created this. I don't know if we actually got
We
any.
have somebody working on this, so I know I'm is working on this,
Okay, great.
and yeah, he's been asking some questions, and I think there should be no issue, like you see as assigned.
Yep, great. Okay, cool.
Testing this isn't really fun, you know, because there's like no way to peek into the block used the used blocks. So
Well, yeah,
testing,
if you have
yeah,
a specific known storage, like if we know for Ceph, we could probably use the Ceph toolbox to query the volume to see.
yeah, yeah, it's real easy with LVM. There's just one command and it tells you exactly, but I don't know how that fits into a functional test in CDI. It's very coupled to a specific storage type.
Hmm.
Um,
And I think it's okay. Like if we have a base storage that we're always testing with, as long as we note that that test is only valid to be run on one particular like specific storage class, it could be
I was
okay.
going to suggest that we just trust, like unit test the command line arguments and trust that QEMU image is doing the right thing. You know, just
Hmm.
delegate that the
Yeah,
responsibility to them.
yeah, yeah. That's another option for sure. Okay. All right.
If you could just drop, okay, I'll just drop a comment saying that so he doesn't start developing crazy functional tests.
Okay, you want to do that, or do you want me to do it in here?
I'll do it.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I think that's probably pretty good. I'm gonna pop back over here and do a last call for any other topics with the last 5 minutes if anyone wants to raise any. All right, I guess not. So with that, I think we can wrap up for today. Good discussions. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at the next SIG storage meeting.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.